Going on, everyone? Frank Robles, Strength Equals. So right now I'm working on a grip exercise, working on forearm and grip. It's more or less a variation of a hammer curl. Slight variations. I am sticking within this top range of motion. Most studies show you don't really need to go way back down here. I found that a full range of motion coming all the way down here really doesn't make a difference as far as even hypertrophy if you're trying to go for growth. But real world strength most of the time is, in this area. Let's say you're picking something up, you're doing stuff like that. Doesn't matter. But this is how I'm doing it. I'm also adding another variation to this. You can use dumbbells. You can use machines. I've had someone made a comment before that I'm using machines. I don't know if they meant it in a negative or a positive way. I don't know either way. I'm not against machines. I think machines are very useful. I'm using a machine more or less to help record this. I use machine to drive to the store. But I also understand that for me, I like to not always rely on machines on certain things and have fun with other things. As you know, I lift up the stones, a lot of awkward lifting. I think all of that stuff is totally, I don't want to say superior, but has a lot of value to it, But machines can also be great for just building muscle, okay, and getting strong. Obviously, that strength that you get from machines is going to cross over to other things with a little bit of practice, okay? I mean, if you get really strong at squatting on a machine or leg pressing with a machine or even picking things up with the machine, back rows, all that stuff, overhead pressing, okay, you're gonna have the raw materials, in this case, muscles. So now go over and pick up a stone, lift up a stone overhead, all within that range of strength that you have. At first, it's gonna be hard because of the skill level not there. But once you get it, you're gonna be a lot more equipped than the person who's just starting out, okay? Again, machines for just building muscle are awesome. To some extent, I would say, and I know people will argue this, can be better, okay? Because it keeps you safer, it keeps you on a track. You can learn the movement a lot quicker, and you can just get right off to building muscle. But anyways, I won't go down that road too long. That being said, I'm not using a machine. I'm not even using dumbbells for what I'm choosing to do here. I've done this exercise before for the grip, for the forearm, but I was kind of sloppy with it, and I think for just getting sloppy or having fun with it, the way I was doing it before was, I guess, okay. Definitely on a level of trying to maneuver weight around. And I've said before, and I'll say it again, I think that that's also good to do. Learn how to move your body in awkward positions. Learn how to use momentum and learn how to use, I guess, that production force of momentum, and put yourself in awkward positions to get a movement up. Is it safe? No. Obviously, you leave yourself open to possible injury. I'm not going to deny that. But is it real world? It really is. Unless you just, live in the house, go to a sit-down cubicle job, and then just go back in the house and you avoid all kinds of just real-life awkward scenarios. But me as a firefighter, and I think as people just live life, you want to play sports, there's always going to be something where there's an awkward position you're going to put yourself in, or you're going to have to just figure out how to use momentum or wiggle yourself into a position and use your muscles there. That's real world. So I think if you never do that, you're also more prone to injury now than if you have done it. It's a skill, an athletic thing. I don't know how you want to say it, but it's definitely something that I think every human being is capable of doing and should learn to do. There are limits, and you have to understand when you start testing those limits, the injury levels go up, and the risk to ratio you have to weigh out. Is it worth it? But if your goal is strictly bodybuilding, again, for the essence of just bigger muscles, bigger biceps, all that stuff, you don't need to do it. Okay, hopefully everybody gets what I'm saying here. Okay, now, anyways, back to what I'm doing here today. I'm going to be doing this for, like I said, this area of my forearm. The reason why I like it a little bit, I like it more than just doing a dumbbell. I've done it with straps. I think you've seen me do it on straps over here. Those all work, and probably going to get the same benefit, maybe even more to some extent for just being strict with that muscle. But I like this, one, because it's fun. Don't take away the element of just having fun with what you're doing, okay? So it's fun. but I also like the fact that I have to use my pecs, my shoulders, my back, and I feel like a deeper stimulation into the forearms because I'm digging into the wood for it not to fall out of my hands. Okay, and I think all of that has a positive effect. Is it all needed just for the hypertrophy of the forearm? I don't know. But again, there's that fun part of it. All right, so let me stop talking and let me get into this lift. So I've said before, this log right here itself weighs 30 pounds. And I have two 10 pounds on there, so I got a total of 50 pounds. Really, weight is irrelevant. Just try to keep it strict. In the past, I wasn't very strict. I was bouncing off my lap, sometimes even bruising myself. Again, I've already discussed why I was doing that, but now I'm trying to keep it strict. I have this board here just to kind of stop it from falling out of my hands. Not stop it, but if it needs to go, it doesn't go crashing on the floor. But it also gives me a standard, how far down I'm going to go every time and come back up. My goal is 8 to 15 of these. I'd like to get a minimum 8. This is my first time doing this in this fashion, so we'll see. All right. Get a little chalk. Help. All right, 11. Stay there until I get a good, clean 15. As I said, what makes it tough is obviously your forearm starting to fatigue. But those weaker spots, the wrist, you need a lot of wrist power to kind of keep this locked in, okay? And to lift. As you start to get tired, this wrist is starting to fold, okay? Now you got to come up a little higher, it's all fatiguing. That's part of a benefit that you wouldn't get, I guess, if you got the machine where you're holding, or whatever, even a dumbbell, if you got the handle. Maybe eventually, obviously, you got that feeling. Happened a lot quicker here. I'm not gonna lie to you, it just feels cool, feels, I don't know, rugged to have this piece of wood in your hand. Okay, you're just lifting it, it's awkward. The way the weight is, it wants to flip out of your hand. Like I said, so you gotta use that wrist strength. I'm gonna stay here, I'm gonna be doing this for a while, along with my other grip stuff that I've shown. Right now, like I said, this is roughly 50 pounds. I mean, you get to 100 pounds with this stuff. I mean, I'd say you're pretty strong with doing other things, okay? And with strength does come hypertrophy. If you want to get bigger, you got to stimulate the growth. One, by trying to continue getting stronger. As I always say, get stronger, not weaker, okay? That's, I guess, a topic of another time, or I can touch on it a little bit. You know, I've had people say, well, you can get stronger without getting bigger. To some extent, if you're a new trainer, you're just learning an exercise, okay? Again, another added benefit, well, not an added benefit, but another reason why machines, you can start kind of growing quicker because that learning curve is a lot shorter than with free weights or other things, you know, especially the awkward stuff, picking up stones, learning how to lift it and all that stuff. So you may get stronger because you're learning how to lift better without growing, that's true. But once you're past that stage, okay, your growths or your strengths will produce growth as long as you're not cheating or changing up the reps, letting other muscle groups do the work for you to have gotten stronger. So, for example, you saw me here, I'm trying to stay really strict, okay, I got 11. Let's say next time I say I got 12 and 13, but those next two next time, or me using a little bit more momentum or other parts, I'm starting to turn it into a button back exercise, Did I truly get 2 more reps? I got 2 more reps, but it wasn't the muscles that I wanted to. So therefore, there's another reason why people will get stronger and say I didn't get bigger. Okay, so you got to keep it all the same. And as that gets stronger, you've stimulated yourself to get stronger. Bigger. Now, why am I saying stimulating? Because it's not automatic either. Now you have to allow rest, recovery, growth to happen. Rest is obviously taking time off, allowing your body to heal up. Part of the recovery is also making sure you're eating enough, okay? Your maintenance in some more. We're not talking hundreds of extra or thousands extra calories, but some more to add to the new growth, okay? And then once the rest, the recovery happened, now you can grow, okay? You don't start growing until you've rested and recovered, okay? So that could take some time. Anyways, you allow that process to happen, come back in, and progress. It's not that complicated, but yet people make it seem complicated. Anyways, grip work today with the log, a little bit of training philosophy, a little bit of thought process behind that today. So hopefully those little pieces of advice help you. If you have any questions, comments, please feel free to leave them. And as I always say, stay strong, not only physically, but mentally.